Are you tired of boring grammar lessons? Want to improve your English while enjoying a real story? This is not just another English lesson. This is a journey. In this 5-part series, you'll follow the life of a young man trying to change his future through the power of English. With simple words, clear sentences, and emotional storytelling, this is the best way to practice your listening and improve fast. So put on your headphones and let the story begin. English story listening practice. Improve your English through stories. The first step. Ravi sat on the edge of his bed. It was 6 a.m. The sun was slowly rising, but he didn't feel excited. His small room was silent. The fan above his head made a soft humming sound. His school bag lay in the corner, dusty and untouched. Ravi was 19 years old, and he had just finished high school. He lived in a small town in India. His family was poor. His father worked as a security guard. His mother cleaned houses. They wanted a better life for Ravi. But there was one big problem. He couldn't speak English. In his school, English was taught but not well. The teacher often read from the book, but students didn't understand. Ravi memorized words, but he couldn't speak. He felt nervous when someone asked him to talk in English. He avoided it. One day, Ravi was walking near the market. He heard 2 tourists asking for help. "Excuse me, can you tell us where the post office is?" The people around them didn't understand. Ravi did. He knew what they were saying, but he was too afraid to speak. He just pointed in the direction of the post office, smiled awkwardly, and walked away. He felt ashamed. That night, he told himself, "If I want to change my life, I have to change myself. And I must start with English." From that moment, his journey began. A plan to change. Ravi searched online for free ways to learn English. He didn't have a laptop, but he had a cheap smartphone. The internet was slow, but it worked. He found a YouTube video titled "Learn English Through Story, Easy English Listening." The voice was clear, the sentences were short, and there were subtitles. He listened. He paused. He repeated. He listened again. He felt a spark. "This is how I will do it," he thought. From that day, Ravi made a promise. Every morning before breakfast, he would listen to one story in English. He chose simple stories, stories about life, about dreams, about hope. In the evening, he would repeat what he learned. He would write the new words in a small notebook. He would try to speak them aloud, even if no one was around. Doubt and fear. After 1 week, Ravi started to feel a little confident. But then, his cousin Arjun came to visit. Arjun lived in the city. He went to college. He spoke English very well. When Ravi tried to speak with him, he stuttered. His tongue got stuck. He felt embarrassed again. Arjun smiled kindly. "You're trying, Ravi. That's what matters. Don't stop." Ravi felt better. But deep down, he still had fear. Maybe I'm too old to learn. Maybe I'll never speak well. That night, Ravi watched a video about a man who learned English at 30. The man said, "The secret is not talent. The secret is practice." Those words stayed with Ravi. The practice begins. The next morning, Ravi recorded himself reading a story aloud. His voice sounded strange to him. He laughed at first. But then he listened carefully. "I'm not bad," he thought. "I can do this." Each day he practiced. He started using simple English phrases with his parents. "Good morning, Mama. How are you, Papa?" His parents smiled, even if they didn't understand everything. Ravi also joined an English WhatsApp group he found online. People from different countries were learning English together. They sent voice messages, helped each other, and became friends. One day, a girl named Lena from the Philippines sent a message. "Hi, Ravi. Your English is improving. Keep going." That one sentence made him smile all day. A new dream. Ravi started to imagine his future. "I will speak English fluently. I will work in a big company. Maybe I will travel. Maybe I will teach others someday." His world was changing, slowly but surely. And it all started with listening to simple stories, just like this one. Sure. Here's the continuation of the story. English story listening practice. Improve your English through stories. The big chance. One afternoon, Ravi was helping his father fix a broken chair. It was hot outside and sweat rolled down his face. Suddenly, his phone buzzed. It was a message from his friend Samir. "Ravi, remember the job fair I told you about? It's tomorrow in the city. You should come. There will be people from big companies." Ravi's hands froze. A job fair? He had never been to one before. The thought of talking to company people in English made his stomach twist. But then he remembered something. "If I wait until I'm ready, I'll never start." Ravi replied, Yes, I'll come. That night, he couldn't sleep. He practiced his introduction again and again. Hello, my name is Ravi. I have finished high school. I am learning English every day. I want to work and learn more. He recorded himself. Listened. Changed words. Practiced again. His heart was nervous. But his mind was ready. A new place. The next morning, Ravi wore his best shirt. It was clean but old. His father gave him some money for the bus. His mother packed him a small lunch. You'll do well, beta, she said with a kiss on his forehead. The city was loud, fast, and full of people. The job fair was held in a college building. Many young men and women stood in long lines. Most of them spoke English. Some wore suits. Ravi felt small, but he remembered his plan. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. The first interview. Ravi waited in line for a customer service company. When his turn came, he walked up to the table. A young woman with glasses smiled at him. Hello, what's your name? She asked. Ravi replied, Hello. My name is Ravi. I finished high school last year. I am learning English by story and video. I want to work and improve. She looked at him kindly. That's great, Ravi. What do you know about customer service? Ravi paused. Then he said slowly but clearly, Customer service is helping people. When they have problem, you listen. You be polite. You fix the issue. You make them happy. She smiled. That's exactly right. You've explained it well. Ravi couldn't believe it. She understood him. He understood her. He didn't speak perfectly, but he communicated. Before leaving, she said, We'll call you next week for a short test. Don't worry, it's in English but simple. Ravi said thank you and walked out with a bright smile. The power of stories. On the bus ride home, Ravi listened to another story on his phone. It was about a boy who wanted to become a pilot. The boy failed many times, but he never gave up. Ravi thought, that's me. He smiled and repeated one line from the story again and again. Every day is a new chance. The wait. 3 days passed. Then 5. Ravi checked his phone every hour. Still no call. He felt worried. Maybe my English wasn't good enough, he thought. But on the 6th day, his phone rang. Hello, is this Ravi? A voice said. Yes, Ravi replied, trying to sound calm. This is Nisha from Core Help Services. Are you free for a short English test today? Ravi said yes, though his hands were shaking. The test was on the phone. Simple questions. He had to describe himself, talk about his hobbies, and explain a small problem like talking to an angry customer. He made mistakes. He forgot some words. But he didn't stop. At the end, the lady said, Ravi, you've done a good job. Your English is basic, but your attitude is excellent. We'd like to offer you a trainee position. Ravi froze. You mean, I got the job? Yes, you did. Ravi's eyes filled with tears. He said thank you again and again. His voice shook with emotion. A family celebration. That night, Ravi told his parents. His father stood up and hugged him tightly. His mother cried with joy. We're proud of you, son, they said. They made sweet tea and shared the good news with the neighbors. But Ravi knew something very important. This job is not the end. It's just the beginning. Ravi's new routine. The company gave Ravi a computer and some training videos. All in English. At first, it was hard. But he followed the same method. Listen. Repeat. Speak aloud. Write down new words. Every night before bed, he listened to one short English story. Slowly, his ears got used to the rhythm of English. His mouth felt more confident. His fear faded. One day, his manager said, Ravi, you've improved so much in just 2 weeks. Great work. Ravi smiled, shy but happy. Giving back. Ravi remembered the WhatsApp group where he had met Lena. He sent a voice message. Hi everyone. I want to share some good news. I got a job. My English is not perfect. But I kept learning. So can you? Don't give up. Messages of support flooded in. Congratulations, Ravi. You are inspiring. You give me hope. Ravi felt proud, not just for himself, but for everyone like him who was trying. Of course. Here's part 3 of your story written in paragraph form, around 1,000 words, in simple, natural English for your YouTube English Stories channel. The big presentation. Ravi sat at his desk in the small training room of Core Help Services. It had been 3 weeks since he joined the company, and he was slowly becoming comfortable with his new life. Every day, he greeted his coworkers with a smile, answered customer questions, and took short notes in English. It wasn't easy, but he enjoyed the challenge. His manager, Ms. Nisha, often praised him for his honesty and effort. But one morning, everything changed. Ravi, Ms. Nisha said, walking over to his desk. We need someone to give a short presentation next week for our training group. You've been doing well, and I think you should do it. Ravi looked at her with wide eyes. Me? A presentation in English? He asked, his voice low. Yes, she replied gently. Just a 5-minute talk. You can choose your topic. Think about it, okay? Ravi nodded slowly, but inside he was scared. That night he couldn't sleep. His mind kept repeating the same question. How could he speak in front of others in English? He was still learning. What if he made a mistake? What if they laughed? He looked at himself in the mirror and whispered, You've come this far. Don't stop now. The next day, Ravi decided to give it a try. He chose a simple topic, how English changed my life. It was personal, honest, and something he could speak about with emotion. He started writing small points in his notebook. First, he wrote about how he used to fear English. Then, how he started listening to English stories on YouTube. He added how those stories helped him build confidence and slowly changed his thinking. And finally, he wrote how learning English gave him a job and hope for a better future. Every evening after work, Ravi practiced in front of the mirror. He stood straight, looked at himself, and spoke clearly. Sometimes he forgot words. Sometimes he laughed at his own mistakes. But every day he improved. He also recorded himself and listened. He corrected his pronunciation and tried again. His voice was getting stronger. His fear was shrinking. On the third day of practice, he felt something new, excitement. On the morning of the presentation, Ravi felt nervous again. He walked into the room where 10 people from his training group were sitting. Ms. Nisha gave him a smile and nodded. You're ready, she said softly. Ravi walked to the front of the room. His hands were cold, and his heart beat fast. But then he remembered his promise to himself. Don't run. Speak with heart. He took a deep breath and began. Hello, everyone. My name is Ravi. Today I want to share something personal, how English changed my life. His voice was soft but clear. He looked around the room. All eyes were on him. He continued. 1 year ago, I couldn't speak a full sentence in English. I was afraid. I thought I was not smart. But then I found English stories online. I started listening every day. At first, I didn't understand. But I didn't give up. I listened again and again. He paused, smiled, and added, Those stories gave me courage. They showed me that English is not just a language. It is a key to confidence, a key to opportunity. Because of English, I got this job. Because of English, I am speaking to you today. The room was quiet, but the energy had changed. Ravi ended with a line that touched everyone. If I can do it, so can you. English is not a magic gift. It is a skill, and skills grow with practice. When he finished, there was silence for a second. Then the room filled with applause. Ms. Nisha stood up and said, Ravi, that was beautiful. Honest, clear, and inspiring. Well done. Ravi felt his heart fill with pride. He had done something he never thought possible. He had spoken in English, not just with words, but with emotion. After the session, many of his co-workers came to him. One said, Ravi, your story is just like mine. I'm also trying to learn. Another said, Your speech gave me hope. One young man even asked, Can you help me find those stories you listened to? Ravi smiled and said, Yes, I'll send you the links. Let's learn together. That evening, Ravi sat on the roof of his house, looking at the stars. He thought about how much his life had changed. Just months ago, he couldn't even speak in front of a mirror. Now, he had given a speech in English. He whispered to the night sky, Thank you. He wasn't thanking a person. He was thanking the journey, the small steps, the stories, and the voice inside him that never gave up. The next morning, he received a message from Ms. Nisha. It said, Ravi, our head office watched your presentation video. They were impressed. They want you to join a special training program in the city. It's a chance to grow. Are you interested? Ravi smiled. Yes, he typed back. I'm ready. But in his heart, he knew he was just getting started. A new world. Ravi stood at the bus station with a small bag in his hand and hope in his heart. It was early morning, and the sky was still dark. His parents stood beside him. His mother had tears in her eyes, but she smiled proudly. His father patted his shoulder and said, Go do your best, Beta. Ravi hugged them both tightly. He was leaving his small town for the first time to join a special training program in the city. The company had selected him after his presentation. It was a big opportunity, but also a big step into the unknown. The city was loud, fast, and full of tall buildings. People walked quickly. Cars honked constantly. Ravi felt small in the crowd. He checked the address on his phone and reached the training center. It was modern and clean. There were young people everywhere, talking in English, laughing, working on laptops. Ravi felt nervous. He sat alone in the back of the classroom on the first day. The trainer walked in and introduced herself in fluent English. She spoke fast, and Ravi could only catch some of the words. He smiled politely but didn't understand everything. During the break, some trainees chatted around him. A boy from Delhi said, "Hey, I liked your presentation video. You speak well." Ravi replied, "Thank you," but then fell silent. The others continued talking, switching between English and Hindi. Ravi listened, but he didn't know how to join. For the first time in weeks, he felt unsure again. That evening, in his small hostel room, Ravi sat alone and thought, "Maybe I don't belong here. Everyone is smarter. Everyone speaks better English." The doubt returned. But then he remembered the boy he used to be, the one who couldn't even say hello in English. "Look how far you've come," he told himself. "Don't give up now." The next day, the trainer gave them a task. They had to work in teams and create a small business idea. After 1 week, they would present it in English. The best idea would get a chance to be shown to the company's top leaders. Ravi was placed in a group of 4. At first, he felt shy. But as the discussion began, he had an idea about a mobile app for helping students learn English through local stories. The others liked it. "That's smart," one girl said. "Let's go with your idea." Now Ravi had a new challenge. He had to speak more English. He had to share ideas, explain details, and prepare slides. His group helped him. They corrected his sentences but never laughed. Ravi practiced speaking slowly and clearly. Each day he learned new words. He also listened to more English stories at night. He noticed that his listening skills were better now. He could understand more, even when people spoke fast. But on the 3rd day, a problem came. Their group leader, Karen, had to leave the training due to a family emergency. The trainer said, "Ravi, you came up with the idea. Why don't you lead the final presentation?" Ravi froze. "Me? Present to the company leaders." The trainer smiled. "Yes. You're ready. Believe in yourself." Ravi nodded, but inside, fear was rising again. That night, Ravi couldn't eat. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. What if I fail in front of everyone? What if I forget my words? But then he remembered something important. When he had faced fear before, he had fought it with preparation and practice. So he stood up, opened his notebook, and began writing his speech. Every night he practiced aloud. In the morning he read it again. He made it simple. He didn't try to use big words, just clear ones. On the day of the presentation, Ravi wore his cleanest shirt and stood tall in front of the audience. The room was full. Company leaders sat in the front row. His teammates stood beside him. He took a deep breath and began, "Good morning. Our idea is an app to help students learn English using local language stories. Let me explain." He spoke slowly, using short sentences. He smiled, made eye contact, and even added a personal line. "I am one of those students. English stories helped me change my life. Now, I want to help others do the same." When he finished, there was a pause, and then loud applause. One of the leaders stood up and said, "That was a powerful idea and a heartfelt presentation. Well done." After the session, people came to shake his hand. One of the senior managers said, "Ravi, your journey is inspiring. We want to share your story in our company newsletter. Are you okay with that?" Ravi smiled and said, "Yes, of course." Back in the hostel, Ravi looked at himself in the mirror. He didn't just see a boy from a small town anymore. He saw someone who had learned to believe. Not just in English, but in himself. He called his mother and told her everything. She cried tears of joy. "Your father is telling everyone in the street," she laughed. Ravi looked out of the window at the bright city lights. He remembered the first English story he ever heard on YouTube. That story had started it all. He whispered, "Thank you." He knew now that English was not just about speaking perfectly. It was about confidence, about connection, and about never giving up. But Ravi didn't stop. He knew this was just another chapter. The real journey was still ahead. 2 weeks after the big presentation, Ravi's life changed again. He was offered a full-time job at the company's main office. His new role would involve helping customers from different countries using English. The offer letter was in his email inbox, And when he read the words, "We are happy to welcome you as a permanent employee," he smiled, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. It was the moment he had dreamed of. From a small town to a full-time job in the city, all through the power of learning English one story at a time. Ravi accepted the offer immediately. He called his parents and shared the news. His father's voice was full of pride. "You did it, son," he said, holding back tears. His mother prayed for his success and said, "One day, you will teach others too." Ravi felt her words deep in his heart. He knew this was not just his success, it was the success of everyone who believed in him. But just when things seemed perfect, he received a surprising call. It was from his old school principal. "Ravi," the man said warmly, "we've been following your journey. Your story was shared online, and many students here are talking about you. Would you come back to your school and speak to our students? We want them to hear your story, from you." Ravi froze for a second. "Speak to students? In front of everyone?" he asked. "Yes," the principal replied. "It doesn't have to be long. Just tell them how you did it. Speak in English, so they can see what's possible." That night, Ravi couldn't sleep. Giving a speech to strangers was one thing. But going back to the school where he had once sat quietly in fear, that was different. That was personal. He looked at the ceiling and remembered the boy who once avoided English classes. Now that same boy was being asked to give a speech in English. It felt like life had come full circle. He said yes. A week later, Ravi returned to his hometown. The streets were the same, but he felt different. People recognized him. Some waved. A few neighbors said, "We saw your video, Ravi. We're proud of you." His mother cooked his favorite food. His father sat beside him and smiled without saying much. That evening, he walked to his old school. Everything felt smaller than he remembered: the playground, the classrooms, the hallways. Yet his heart was full. In the main hall, over 100 students were seated, waiting quietly. Teachers stood in the back. The principal introduced Ravi and said, "He was once just like you. Today, he's here to show you what's possible." As Ravi walked to the front, his legs felt weak. But then he looked at the students, some shy, some curious, all waiting for hope. He took the mic and began, "Good morning, everyone. My name is Ravi. A few years ago, I sat where you are sitting now. I was scared of English. I thought I wasn't smart enough. But then, I started listening to stories." The students listened closely. He continued, "I didn't join a big class. I didn't spend lots of money. I just used my phone. I listened to one English story every day. I wrote down new words. I spoke to myself in the mirror. I made mistakes, but I didn't stop." He paused, then added, "English didn't just teach me words. It taught me courage. It gave me a job. It gave me confidence. If I can do it, so can you. Start with one story. One sentence. One word. But don't give up." The hall was silent. Then came applause, loud and full of emotion. Some students even stood up. The principal walked over and said, "Thank you, Ravi. Today, you didn't just speak English. You gave our students belief." After the speech, many students came to him. "Bia, what stories did you listen to?" one boy asked. "Can I also learn like you?" said another girl. Ravi wrote down a list of free YouTube channels and websites that helped him. He even promised to make his own channel one day, to tell stories in simple English for learners like them. That night, as Ravi sat on the terrace of his home, the sky above was full of stars. He thought about his journey, from fear to confidence, from silence to speech, from student to teacher. He smiled and whispered, "This is just the beginning." A few weeks later, Ravi started a YouTube channel called Learn English with Ravi. His first video was simple. He told the story of how he learned English through listening. In just a few days, it got hundreds of views. Comments came in from learners all over the world: Bangladesh, Nigeria, Nepal, and even Brazil. "Thank you, Ravi. You gave me hope. Your English is clear and easy to understand. I listen to your story every morning. It helps me start my day." Ravi felt something bigger growing inside him, a purpose. He realized he wasn't just learning English anymore. He was building a bridge for others to follow. And so, with a small mic, a quiet room, and the same determination he had years ago, Ravi continued to tell stories, one at a time. Not just to teach English, but to light the fire of confidence in every learner's heart. Because in the end, stories don't just teach us words. They teach us how to believe in ourselves. Absolutely. Here's the YouTube optimization package for your full 5-part English story series titled English Story Listening Practice. Improve your English through stories. Everything is written in simple, natural language to attract your target audience. English learners looking for engaging content.